All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome into today's edition of In the Game. I am your host, Hustle, and as always, we're going to be diving into the markets. We're going to be diving into the landscape of Web3 games as there's more and more adoption happening literally every single day in this space. Big money. We're talking, hundreds of millions of dollars of new investments coming into the space. We'll talk about that as well, and we'll go over a bunch of the altcoins that I think legitimately are on the cusp of rallying. I think the altcoins are about to explode, especially once we see the next leg up here for Bitcoin. I think we're kind of just waiting around at the moment for that movement. And I'm going to go over the projects that I think have the most potential during this leg up. Let's dive into it. Let's not waste any time. Like the video if you enjoy the content here on Banter and on In the Game. Subscribe for more shows here every single day on gaming, DeFi, fundamentals, charting, and more. And shout out to our sponsors here on In the Game. Bybit, one of the leading crypto exchanges in all of the space for all of your trading needs. Sign up for a Bybit account down below. NordVPN, always use a VPN when you are trading, when you are navigating Web3. Don't disclose your IP address. NordVPN down below. Vulcan Forge, one of the leading gaming studios, infrastructures in the entire space with Vulcan Studios, Metascapes, the Elysium blockchain, and more. More on Vulcan Forge down below. SIDUS Heroes, one of the leading AAA intergalactic Web3 games in the entire space. And last but not least, the next sniper cohort starts on the 10th, I believe. That is the deadline for the registration. So down below, free trading course. Sheldon and the team have put together a fantastic course there for you to be able to learn. So links down below for all of our sponsors here on In the Game. And let's look at the market. ETH is looking pretty good over the last 24 hours, which gives me a very bullish sentiment for the altcoins. We're up 2.72% over the last 24 hours when we're looking at Ethereum. And I genuinely think this is going to be that trigger of a rally. And we saw what Elon did yesterday with DogeCoin, and if you've been living under a rock, if you don't use Twitter, you can take a look at the top left here and see that the Twitter logo is now the Doge. So he has really set this trigger for Dogecoin. And I mean, ETH over the last 24 hours, as mentioned, is up a couple percent. I think this is going to be the moment where altcoins are starting to take off. So what are some of those altcoins that I am looking at, and what are the industry that I am looking at inside of crypto? It's Web3 games. We all know my biggest conviction is in Web3 and NFTs inside of video games for the future, the metaverse, etc. And we're seeing Layer Zero locking down $120 million in fresh funding for an APAC gaming push. Now, this is massive. This is absolutely every single day there are new money and new investments coming into the space. So seeing Layer Zero locking down this funding is another bullish catalyst. So Brandon says he didn't do anything. It's broke. It's descending triangle. Doge would have did that without Elon. Yeah, right. That's funny. That didn't happen for any other reason other than Elon, but we'll continue here. Immutable. So Immutable X is one of the top on my watch list at this moment in time as this token dilution. If you look here, the market cap and the fully diluted market cap, they're starting to close in on each other. And there are some upcoming token unlocks, which I am looking out for Immutable, but I'm looking for a close to $1 entry, and we're definitely getting there. I think Immutable is one of the leading Web3 gaming companies in the entire space. And if you look, the next generation of gaming is building on Immutable. I mean, the amount of products, Illuvium, Ember Sword, Guild of Guardians, WAGMI Games, Undead Blocks, Gods Unchained. There's so many quality games flocking to Immutable. And with Immutable's new technology and their new partnership, the 𝗂𝗃 partnering up with Polygon, these two are at the absolute top of my list for projects that I am looking to absolutely accumulate the most. So that is something I am looking at. So I'm just going to reply to this real quick. No, he didn't pump XRP 80%. He doesn't care about XRP. He pumped Dogecoin. Every pump in the market is an Elon, but he definitely pumped Dogecoin. That would be ridiculous to not think so. But so I'm really looking at Immutable and Polygon as those top projects for me. And you're getting behind a business development team from Polygon with Stripe, MasterCard, Liverpool, Bentley. every big brand in the space is flocking towards Polygon. And then you get the gaming infrastructure of Immutable. So I think those two are a very good tandem to kind of have in your bags during this rally that I do think is about to hit these altcoins. Avalanche, more bullish developments for Avalanche every single day as they continue to assert themselves as a leader for institutional grade on-chain asset for tokenization. And they've partnered with Tokeny Solutions, bringing institutions an easy way to issue, manage, and transfer tokenized securities. So this is big because they are working with Tencent, they're working with Amazon, they're working with some of the biggest players in the space and bringing tokenization, bringing NFT marketplaces to their platform. So I think this is another massive, massive move for Avalanche. And over the last quarter, you know, from January to March, I think Avalanche has made some of the biggest strides as far as business development. And just today, we're seeing probably the most anticipated game, not only on Avalanche, but probably the most anticipated game in Web3 at this moment in time, alongside Dead Drop. They are about to have their early access for operators holders, and they're about to have the token early access for operators holders. So that's going to be a massive, massive monument for Avalanche Gaming and obviously Shrapnel. We've been looking forward to Shrapnel for a long time. We've had Don from the team on the show multiple times, and it's just really awesome to see what they're building. It's coming to life. And it's really looking so quality. So Avalanche is definitely at the top of my list. And those would be the blockchains I'm most looking at accumulating during these time periods, these gaming-centric blockchains that I really have my scope on. I do think Arbitrum, you know, despite the FUD yesterday, if you lived under a rock as well, kind of like the Doge thing, but Arbitrum Foundation made a proposal to allocate 750 ARB tokens for admin and operational costs, but the ARB holders voted against it at a governance vote. And now they said the vote was just a formality, and they have already spent 50.5 million of the proposed 750 million Arbitrum. So this was all over Twitter yesterday. I don't think that this is going to affect the project because when I talk to the games, I literally hit the ground running yesterday. I started talking to the games, talking to the DAOs, talking to the infrastructures that are building on Arbitrum. They're not fazed by this. Do they agree with the decision by Arbitrum to have done this? No. But they definitely are not leaving the chain. They are not going to back down. You see, and we see ARB is a rug pull. Arbitrum is not a rug pull. The most games in the space, that is one behind Immutable and Polygon. It's the chain that most games are looking to adopt on. And I really, the sentiment I get from the games on the platform, nothing's changed. They're all continuing to build on Arbitrum. And I think that that's, you know, I do think that that's a no-brainer. Arbitrum, the low gas, it is, sir. All right. Agree to disagree. And then I act like Doge went to all-time high. If you don't think that pump had anything to do with Elon, you can just, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you because it didn't just pump like that for no reason. Nothing is pumping like Dogecoin, which pumped 33% yesterday. But hey, we'll move on. 𝗪𝗏𝗋. So 𝗪𝗏𝗋 is the #1 project underneath Magic from TreasureDAO. I'm looking at TreasureDAO as the #1 gaming project underneath Arbitrum, but we've talked about that time and time again. I'm now looking at 𝗪𝗏𝗋 for a huge opportunity. 𝗪𝗏𝗋 is the DeFi kingdoms of Arbitrum. Their NFTs mint tomorrow, 0.06 ETH a pop. And this is going to get you qualifications for tons more perks inside of the ecosystem. So I am looking at 𝗪𝗏𝗋 as one of the leading projects coming out of Arbitrum. That's a new launch, right? There's projects out that I like I said, like Magic, like TreasureDAO. But when you're looking at the first gamified DEX on Arbitrum, I'm looking at 𝗪𝗏𝗋 to do some really big things. Vulcan Forge, one of our sponsors here on the show, but our conviction in Vulcan Forge has never, ever wavered. 368 at the price right now, around $100 million market cap for what Jamie Thompson, Anthony Scaramucci, and the team is doing at Vulcan Forge, I think is a no-brainer long-term. They just, whenever they bought the D app, DeFi 11, which is like a fantasy soccer app, they just rebranded it over to Vulcan 11. They're having big updates coming soon on the Elysium platform. So I'm really looking at Vulcan Forge to make another leg up and push towards $4 here if we get that altcoin surge that I am predicting. Gala, although the tokenomics don't give me the best vibes and the diluted market cap could be a little tighter, it's inevitable that 𝗟𝗯, when the market is going to be in a bullish trend, that it's going to perform very well. We've seen it time and time again. People don't really care about tokenomics in an up market. The money just goes into the quality projects. I think 𝗟𝗯 does have another leg up if we do see that altcoin rally. And we're seeing 𝗪𝗋𝗋𝗡 and 𝗟𝗯 partner up here. They're bringing liquidity back for the people who compromised or were compromised in the P network situation with 𝗟𝗯, if you remember that, when people called it a compromise. And together they will cooperate in investment and listing of high quality projects, including layer 1 integration, co-branding, and community developments. What are my views on decentralization in gaming? It's the best route. Decentralized, you know, this is the future of gaming right here. You owning your assets. That's everything. These centralized platforms, you don't own a single thing that you have in your Call of Duty inventory. It's just on a platform and you don't have ownership of that. You can't transfer that to someone else. You can't sell it unless you just sold your entire account, right? So yeah, decentralization in gaming is going to be the biggest industry to come out of Web3. I can guarantee it, as we're seeing Fortnite, Epic Games, Steam pivoting their stance. I mean, every big gaming company in the world is flocking towards Web3. So I'm definitely very bullish on decentralization in games. You would know that if you watch the show here every day, obviously, but that is something that I think is going to be the biggest disruptor in the entire cryptocurrency industry. Let's talk about the low caps that I'm still really eyeing up. I'm looking at Altera. Altera is a Unity verified solution. Now games are building in Web3. These indie developers have the opportunity to bring smart NFTs into their games thanks to Altera. So Zombie Guillotine will use Unity SDK to create smart NFTs available on their custom NFT marketplace powered by Altera. Are you a Unity developer working on a Web3 game? This is the verified solution and one of the only companies in Web3 to work directly with Unity in building the future of gaming. This is massive because these developers can plug and play in-game assets as NFTs into their games. So absolute #1 low cap, in my opinion, right now is Altera. I'm also looking at Senate at such a low market cap. Whenever we talked with the CEO and co-founder of SIDUS last week on the show, when you look at the whole economy spectrum, I think that it's also one of those undervalued projects. This is the governance token for SIDUS, which is Senate. And lately, their mobile app came out. And, you know, for the mobile gaming fans, this is something they can hop into. They have a AAA experience they're building out. They have the auto battler experience. So there's lots of things you can hop in and do within the SIDUS universe. And at a $3 million market cap, I definitely think this has a lot of upside potential given the economics and given the games that are being built within the ecosystem. Definitely bullish on Senate. Also bullish on, you know, one of my favorite projects from last bull run is NFT Champions. They're finally coming around, coming to the Unity, or not Unity, Epic Game Store. They're launching their NFTs soon on OpenSea. They just launched this new update today with the fusion system. So if you have two creatures, you're able to fuse them into one. And this one here looks like a Zapdos type of character from Pokemon. And this is truly like the Pokemon of Web3 gaming. So I'm definitely looking at NFT Champions at such a low market cap too. You know, these are really, really high upside, but high volatility projects as well. If we see us break trend and actually Ethereum continues, Bitcoin continues over 30,000, those low caps are going to have the biggest moves, but it's going to take a little bit for the liquidity to get down there from the high caps, the blue chips, the mid caps, and then to the low caps. Let's talk about a couple of tokens in the chat box really quick before we hop out of here. Star Atlas, I'm not really bullish on the tokens in the ecosystem, to be honest. Good game, not bullish on the token. Efinity, I haven't seen anything from, you know, Efinity and Engine have really been a letdown. Full disclosure, I'm not really looking at either of them to get involved in at this moment in time. If it's all about if these games have rising counts of players, yeah, absolutely. Because no matter what it is, you have to have a player base. You have to have users inside the game. I agree. And right now, we're not at that point yet. Eventually, we're going to have tons of players playing these games. Superverse, yeah, I mean, Elio is relentlessly building imposters. He's relentlessly building Gigamart, and I would bet big on Elio long-term with Superverse. Who is PS going to work with on their smart contract or smart NFT platforming? If you're talking about PlayStation, is that what you're talking about? I would actually say they're probably doing something in-house, most likely. Now, if they were to work with 𝗟𝗃, that's going to send 𝗟𝗃 to the next level, obviously being such a low cap token. But I'm not sure, William. That's a good question. MCRT, is that Magic Craft? I've seen good things. I'm not involved in it, but I've seen good things. Where do I see Sol going? Hasn't really pumped yet. Unlike Arbitrum, when something happened to Sol in the past, the developers really wanted to go build on other chains. But with Solana, with Arbitrum, people are staying. With Solana, they wanted to go build on other chains. I don't like that from a gaming perspective. I think Solana long-term has potential, but definitely not in that top stack of gaming blockchains. Given the things that have developed over the last few months with Immutable, Polygon, Avalanche, Arbitrum, I definitely think that, Solana is underneath all of those at this moment in time. Not many options other than 𝗟𝗃. I agree. That would be huge if 𝗟𝗃 is working with PlayStation to bring their integration. Network, not really on my watch list radar at this moment in time. I'd rather look at 𝗬𝗈. Ultra, very bullish. Veracity, very bullish. Best show in town. Thank you. All right, guys. Like the video if you enjoyed. It's about 15 minutes in. I got to hop out. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel for more every single day here on In the Game. And I'll be back with another video tomorrow. As always, play well, my friends.